It is so often the architecture that makes the city, and Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, certainly has more than its fair share of its own style. These add to the charm and attraction of this dynamic city. The cityscape is a mix of architectural styles, including French colonial, traditional Vietnamese, Chinese, and modern. One example is Saigon's Old City Hall, which today is the headquarters of the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City. It's a grand old Parisian-style building built by the French in 1908. It is one of Saigon's best examples of French colonial architecture. It is particularly beautiful at night when floodlights show off the building at its best. The Central Post Office of Ho Chi Minh City is an outstanding French-style structure that was constructed between 1886 and 1891 and is an exquisite example of French colonial architecture. It resembles a classical French railroad depot. It is still a fully operating post office to this day. The Rex Hotel is another of the city's grand and noble hotels, and it commands an impressive presence. It began its existence as a commerce center and a garage in early 1927, and it was in place until 1959. Later, efforts began to convert the building into a hotel, which also included 3 movie theaters, a large reading room, and a dining facility. During the Vietnam War, the hotel housed the American Forces Information Service, and it quickly became a favorite hangout for U.S. military leaders. The Municipal Theater of Ho Chi Minh City is often also called the Opera House. It's a charming and elegant structure that adds much to the city's downtown area. Construction was completed on the neoclassical style building in 1897. It was designed by a French architect, Eugène Ferret. The theater seats 800 people. The Ben Thanh Market is an icon of the Ho Chi Minh City and one of its most popular locations for visitors. The market traces its roots to 1859 when the French established its predecessor at the site of the Ya Dinh Citadel. A fire ravaged the market in 1870 but was rebuilt, becoming the largest market in the city. One of the most interesting buildings architecturally speaking in Ho Chi Minh City is the Reunification Palace. This was the home and workplace of the South Vietnamese president Nguyen Bun Thieu. It's an imposing structure sitting on a large gated compound. Built from 1962 to 1968, it was designed by a Vietnamese architect who trained in Paris. The building is a museum today, with all the rooms set up exactly as they were when it served as a presidential palace and South Vietnamese government offices. However, not all of Saigon's architecture is traditional. The city has seen a boom in the construction of modern buildings. One striking example is Landmark 81, so called because it has 81 stories, and it's certainly a landmark. It can be seen from all over Ho Chi Minh City, and it is currently the tallest building in Vietnam. Finally, no story of Saigon's fascinating architecture would be complete without a mention of the Cao Dai temples seen throughout the city. This religion is unique to Vietnam and began in the 1920s. From its traditional and time-honored structures to its modern and bold designs, the architecture of Saigon has broken many barriers. As Vietnam moves ever forward into the future, its buildings will continue to tell a story.